Thank you, Tina. Tina sent me an email. Y'all can hear me. Okay, I said a lot. I said I was discombobulated by what happened to Tyreek Hill. Again, it didn't say it wasn't on. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see. Hold on. Is it on? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. It doesn't show it's not on. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, maybe you can hear me now. All right, so here's what I was saying. I was apologizing for my tardiness because I was getting ready for the show. I was actively on my laptop putting together the images for the show, and I looked up and I saw Tyreek Hill's injury in Miami during the game with the Jets. I was talking to my family about the game, and I looked up, and you know how you just look up and you're not expecting to see anything different other than what you have in your mind, either the game or the images you put together. And I saw Tyreek Hill's image on a replay, on a photo. And I was discombobulated after that. You would have thought this happened to somebody I knew. I mean, my thoughts just scattered and ran all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, I have never seen anything like that. Not in the medical field. Yes, that was a cheerleader cheer for all sports. Still, I have never seen the human body leg like that. Right. So I said, I put together a video. I found a video and kind of curated it from a sports medicine doctor who I decided to follow because he quickly went on to YouTube and shared the prognosis, what happened, the potential for the future for Tyreek Hill. And this helped me, right? Because it looks so bad. So for those of you who are not used to seeing gruesome things, this is a trigger warning. This is the trigger warning. Obviously, I'm not showing the live replay. I'm showing you what the hell I saw first. And I asked, is this Photoshop? So Tyreek Hill left on a cart, but he was smiling and thanking God. So that made me feel better. Because this could be the end of his career. So this is Tyreek Hill. This is his leg. He dislocated his knee. I didn't even know you could dislocate your knee. I know you could dislocate your knee. And the doctor we get ready to listen to is telling you why this could be potentially career ending because of the direction of his foot. Do you see his leg at the knee? It has turned into almost a 180 or a 360. His foot is the opposite direction of what his foot should be pointing in. When I saw this, all my thoughts ran off into different directions. You know how when one black person run, we all run? That's what happened with my thoughts. They all went the same direction, and I didn't even know why. I don't know Tyreek Hill, but I'm human. See, this is human emotion. I actually had to keep talking to myself and say, hang on, just get it together. We're going to get this show together. We're going to finish what we started. I was like, I forgot what the hell it was I was working on. And then I watched it play out in real time. Of course, I'm not going to show that. This right here is the most gruesome thing I have ever seen. And I remember there was a basketball player for the Indiana Pacers, a player, I think something weird like this happened with his leg. And it was the same thing, but I didn't really see that. See, I wasn't expecting to look up and see this, so it took me by surprise. But to see Tyreek Hill get on the cart, to see Tyreek Hill like smiling, thanking God. Some people say he was thanking God because he don't have to play for Miami no more. That's a good way to make fun of it, I guess. And some people was like, thank God, he could have been worse off. Some people thought right at this moment, you see him in this photo, that he was in shock. I'm like, how is he not in pain? So let's listen to what the doctor said that's going on. I want y'all to listen to this because this really helped me too, right? So I'm not showing you this to gross you out. It's all over the internet, so I know I can show it. But I didn't even know the human body could do this. And I pray this is not season or a career ending for Tyreek, because I know how much Tyreek, we all do. We know how much Tyreek loves the game of football. And I don't know what you think about Tyreek as a person, but this is not about Tyreek as a person. This is about a human being that loves the sport of football, that this is his livelihood. And this gruesome thing happens to him. All right. So let's put Doc up here so he could tell us what the hell we looking at. Lord, have mercy. Whew. So yeah, I was apologizing for my tardiness when I started talking. Whew, my head still is swollen. I'm telling y'all, it's crazy. I'm over here to y'all left. I'm over here to your left. All right, Doc. This is Doc. I might be Shedeur, but I followed him. He's real good. He got on here quick. People praising him for getting on here so fast. All right, here we go.
Understand why this injury is potentially so severe if it is in fact a true dislocation, which I think is again what it looks like. We have to understand that there's more around the knee than just the ligaments. What's important with any joint dislocation is disruption of blood vessels and the injuries to nerves. Here we're looking at the backside of a left knee, and we're going to hide some of these muscles. And what we're going to see is a really important set of structures, neurovascular structures in the back of the knee, the popliteal artery and the popliteal vein.
All right, y'all hear what he's saying? He's showing us the back of the knee, and what he's saying is it's critical. Yes, he dislocated his knee, but the artery which brings blood to that area is what is likely disrupted that could be career ending. Take a listen, and why it's so important that Tyreek hurry up and get to the hospital.
Let's get rid of some more of these little bursa that we don't need to see for the sake of this and hide some more of these muscles. So this blood vessel that we're looking at here on the back side of the knee is the popliteal artery. This is going to go all the way up from deep up in the pelvis, coming off the aorta, down along the back side of the knee, and then travel all the way on down to the lower leg to supply blood to the majority of the lower leg and the foot and ankle. You can see, though, how close that popliteal artery and popliteal vein sit to the tibia, to the knee. Whenever you have a knee dislocation, there is a high risk that you can tear or damage these neurovascular structures. There's also going to be a nerve that runs along the backside here. Also on the lateral side of the knee, there's going to be the popliteal nerve. If any of you watch, the common peroneal nerve. If any of you watch mixed martial arts, you'll hear about calf kicks, these low calf kicks. That's when the peroneal nerve, the common peroneal nerve, wraps around the outside of the leg and goes down. And so those two nerves are key for what can be injured and damaged when you have a knee dislocation.
So, see, it's not just about the knee, the joint, the bones above, the bones below, fibula, tibula. It's not just about that. It's about the artery, which is blood supply. And I'm glad I watched this because it looks gruesome, but it's also pretty bad. So I'm glad that Tyreek Hill was in good spirits when he was carted off and he was thanking God. So I pray for God to give him full 100% recovery of his career, because I think it will be a miracle at this point.
Remember, with any sort of joint dislocation with resultant blood vessel injury, time is absolutely critical. Here in a situation like this, they're going to get him to the hospital quick enough that you don't have to worry about that time cutoff and criteria. Typically, though, within like 3 to 6 hours, you want to get to a hospital because time is muscle, time is tissue, to get that joint reduced so that you can hopefully restore proper blood flow to the rest of the leg. And if there is an injury or trauma to these blood vessels, to the nerves on the backside, the sooner you can intervene and try to correct that, the better.
All right, so that's basically it, right? I just wanted you to see that this is not just about the knee part. This is not just about the joints, the ACLs, and all of this. This is about the blood supply, life supply, right? So I felt better after watching Doc. Shout out to Doc Shedeur, Brian Shedeur, I think is his name. He put it up like that, had a great analysis and breakdown. It actually probably comforted a lot of people and informed us. One thing I like this channel to be is, yeah, we have fun around here and we do analysis, but we also like to inform people. Because as you know, in the social media age, the damn video is just going viral and people looking at the gruesomeness of it. I wanted to understand what has really transpired. And like Doc said, it's not just about the joints, the ligaments. It's about the artery. So I pray Tyreek Hill 100% recovers from this and can return to his career, because I don't know how he will feel right now if a doctor tells him in the next 24 to 48 hours that you can't play football no more. And this happens, right? This happens. This happened to a player coming into the draft. And this happened to the quarterback for Florida State. I don't know if y'all remember him, but he was the quarterback when Florida State got cheated out of the last 14 playoff. And they said it's because they kicked Florida State out and let Alabama in because the quarterback broke his leg. Well, just earlier this year, it was announced that quarterback, DJ maybe, had to retire from football. because he could never recover 100% from that injury. So, see, this is not just life threatening, this is life altering. It could be. So, Doc said the way his foot was pointing kind of signals that the prognosis is worse than people actually believe. So, again, that's what had me in shambles. But I managed to get it together because I kept saying, get it together, get it together, get together, and put the show together and put my clips together. And of course, I wanted to share what people are saying. So I had to make sure I had all of that and put it together. So thank y'all for hanging out while I got it together. But again, we want to make sure that, Tyreek is going to be okay. All right. So, moving on. All right. So Shedeur Sanders. All right. So Shedeur, as y'all know, was on the sidelines, and you could see that, in the Lions game, he had the headset on. I don't know what he was holding, but the look on his face was that of frustration, right? Like, I'm over here patiently waiting. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I'm still not getting an opportunity. And, I said to myself, I said, I told y'all the last time we talked about this, I said, God is waiting on Shedeur. And what do I mean by that? I said, God is waiting on Shedeur to understand what's really going on. And why is that? All right. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, what? Okay, let me make sure y'all can still see what I'm saying. Can y'all hear me? Make sure y'all can hear me. All right. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have to understand what's going on so you can know how to move, right? Coming into the draft, Shedeur was 100% authentically himself. Also, Coach Prime's son. I never heard him run around and be entitled and try to use his nepotism to get where he is. Even though, come to find out, Pat Schumer was a nepo baby. Yeah, I looked into that. I never saw him do that, right? What I did hear him say is that he was strong of mind because why? Because he saw some of the things his dad went through. He knew his dad had a tough time. He saw what happened to him. So he wasn't a person that you could easily dismantle mentally, right? But see, here's the thing, right? That's well and good. But see, God is waiting on Shedeur to understand that what happened to his dad is one thing. And what's happening to him is not because he's a Sanders. We know it's 17-32. We know this. I have proven this, right? Now they talking about Jordan Love, shame on the Green Bay Packers. Remember, the Green Bay Packers end up losing at the last minute to who? The Browns, right? And I was like, how are they supposed to be a Super Bowl winning team? And I was like, who they quarterback? Oh, that's right, Jordan Love. Who up next? Malik Willis. Just in case you don't know, Malik Willis is Kaden Salter's mentor. So you know Kaden Salter has an in with somebody helping him on how to be mentally his mentor, Malik Willis, in the NFL, who himself was mistreated in Tennessee and benched for Will Levis. And now he's second to Jordan Love, who they kicking on right now. So it's not like Kaden don't have anybody. But Kaden seemingly is going to learn faster that it's about 17-32 when you're a black quarterback in the NFL in the current climate. It's always something, right? But in this current climate, it's 17-32. I feel like Kaden is going to learn that faster than Shedeur. And what do I mean by that? I mean, God is waiting on Shedeur to understand this don't have nothing to do with you being a Sanders. You're not being snubbed because they don't think you not talented. They know you talented. They said it multiple times. They've also said multiple times that the quarterback position is the most important position on the team. That was from Barry multiple times. Then you heard Stefanski say, we have standards for this position. So you put the standards that they have with the repetition of this is the most important position on the team. It ain't because you are Sanders. It's because you're black. And I'm slowly starting to wonder if the Sanders don't 100% fully understand racism because they black and wealthy. It's a real question. It's not a knock against them. I like them. You know, I love the family. But we also got to realize they grew up wealthy. And being wealthy insulates Black people, but it does not exempt you from racism. And all we have seen since the Shedeur shot up to #1 coming out of college in October of 2024 is him being pit against Travis. And now that Shedeur is held back, they coming for Travis. Jerry Jeudy forced to share a locker, didn't do no good with Flacco, because guess what? Isaiah Bond is a top receiver. See, that's why you don't do what they want you to do, because they just gonna play in your face. See, God is waiting on Shedeur to understand that. And I personally believe out of Shedeur and Shiloh and Coach Prime, I believe that Shedeur is the one that's closest to the pen to realizing it's racism first. Just the way he moves, the way he wears hair. Why you think he wears hair like that? Not just because he like it. He's saying, I'm not going to let you change me. And he might know what's going on is racism. But then again, he might not. But one thing about it, God got to make sure Shedeur understand 100%. This don't have nothing to do with your father. Why? Because you're going to get frustrated. You're going to try to make things happen. You're going to think all you got to do is take a look at my talent. He out here working out, you know, staying late, coming in early. That's fine, all well and good. But see, it don't matter. Even I'm hopeful that when they go to London, they'll let him play. Not because time is passing or because, see, look, he's doing the work. He's talented. But because Jaxon Dart has the #1 selling jersey in the NFL because that's what they wanted. See, 17 to 32, I don't just not want you to be a Black quarterback because I don't want your athleticism no more. I don't want you to be the face on my damn TV commercials. I don't want you to be the one that we talking about all the time. When people keep telling you that so-and-so acts like they belong, they are telling you there's a standard for who belongs and who does not. All of the Nepo babies that are white belong. But Shedeur, who also could be a Nepo baby, he don't belong because we have standards for this position, because the quarterback is the most important position. Look at how Russell Wilson moved. Look at how Jalen Hurts moved in silence. That's what you got to do. See, when Shedeur said the other day about his quarterback play and he know he's talented, my first thought was, okay, either this is strategic and he knows for a fact that it don't have nothing to do with his talent, or he really don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know Shedeur. So I don't know if he has not yet 100% come to the point. This ain't got nothing to do with your talent. This ain't about your dad. This ain't about your talent. And you know when he gonna see it when we get further along in the season and they willing to lose. Hell, Browns fans, have they even made it to the point where they realize the Browns don't care about winning? The Browns don't care about Shedeur talent, and they don't care about winning. They care about a white quarterback. That's what they care about. And I don't even know if Shedeur made it to that point. I would think he has. And if not, he gonna get there as they get closer to the end of the season and start talking about the draft. The reason I say I wonder if the Sanders don't realize that racism is what's plaguing them is because I would think Shiloh would have known to look out for the bait. I would think Shedeur would have known how to move. I would think he would realize that saying things like, you know, I'm better than a lot of the quarterback play out there or whatever, regardless of who he was talking about. I would think he would know that would fuel the fire to continue to make them hold him back. I would think he would know that by now. Honestly, I would think Coach Prime would know that Pat Schumer changing the plays, holding the team back after they get up 14-0 is designed to take him down. I would think Coach Prime would understand that you don't have 3, 4, 5 years to get it right like white coaches. That you just like the last Black coach that they have, who I think ended up at Michigan State and got set up. How long was he at CU? A year or two? When they went 1-11, was that head coach Black? How long did he get? What's the longest tenured black head coach at Colorado? That's how much time Coach Prime got. In other words, you're not any different. And the NFL is making sure that Shedeur, at the end of the day, understands we don't value you. We don't give a damn about your talent. We don't care about your dad because we just showed you that too. You a quarterback, and we don't want you to be our quarterback. And you can see the difference in how they celebrate Dart for wearing his chain. They willing to klepto black culture and celebrate it on Dart, but punish and criminalize Shedeur for celebrating his own culture. So see, here's the message. Dart can celebrate black culture, wear chains, wear his hat backwards, run through toll booths and don't pay. But you can't even get a speeding ticket. You can't wear your chains. You can't wear your hat backwards. This is the lesson for Shedeur. God is waiting on Shedeur to understand how to move in the NFL, or he's not going to make it. For the people that say Coach Shedeur needed an agent because he wanted to get drafted as high as possible, like he was going shopping at the mall and he wanted to get the best deal. See, Shedeur and everybody else, including myself, we thought it was about his talent. The NFL told you in 2025, I don't care about your talent. We want it to be Dart because we want him to have the number one selling jersey in the NFL. We want everybody to talk about Dart. I just watched a commercial with the 49ers and the Rams. I guess they are the Chargers or somebody on the West Coast. They get ready to play. And I looked and noticed how they did a zoom in close up, a zoom out toward the public close up, like bringing it to my sofa on 85 inches, zooming out to me, the two white quarterbacks playing in that game. And I sat there and said, I wonder if they gonna do this when Jalen Hurts meet up with Jada Daniels or Dak Prescott. Or better yet, if Lamar meet up with Cam Ward. Brown skin. We keep coming back to that, don't we? When they zoomed out like that to the audience on a TV, to the faces of the quarterbacks, the white skin of the quarterbacks, what's the message? Yeah, we got white quarterbacks. Come check us out. So what are they pandering to? The same thing the WNBA was pandering to. Using racism as a marketing tool. So I said earlier today, I said the NFL is trying to Caitlin Clark, Jaxon Dart. And shout out to Jaxon Dart and or his team around him. When he was named the starter, the first thing he did was shout out to Russell Wilson. See, the NFL tried to divide Russell Wilson and Jaxon Dart. See, I told y'all, we cheering for football games. But what the hell are they cheering for? Black versus white, white versus black. White people dominating a black dominant sport. We're better than you. You're nothing. That's what they're celebrating. That's what they're celebrating. Which is why the New York Giants thought it was a good idea to humiliate Shedeur. That was for all of the fans that they want to come watch who don't like black people. This is why they tried to pit Dart against Russell Wilson, but it didn't work because Dart stood up at his press conference and said, I want to give a thank you to Russell Wilson. Why? Because we all know Russell Wilson helped mentor him. We know Dart didn't start out well, but they don't want to admit that. They wanted to hide his flaws and act like he's perfection, but Shedeur is trash just because they want a white player to dominate a black-led dominant sport. Black people like me, I just want to see a football game. I think Dart is a good kid. I also see he's smart enough to know, probably because he went to Ole Miss in Mississippi. He's smart enough to know they try to pit him against Russell Wilson. He's smart enough to know, let me thank Russell Wilson publicly so the racists don't try to use me like they did Caitlin Clark to tear down Angel Reese. This is why this is happening in basketball, in women's basketball. And this is what they trying to do in the NBA with players who come to this country to play basketball, like Nikola Jokic. Same thing. Every single time it's a black-led, black-dominant sport in terms of the talent. You don't have any black people calling the shots. And they trying to find a great white hope. Not just to put out front so they can beckon in other people who don't like black people. Because how else you going to get white people who don't like black people to come watch a black dominant sport? Racism. Now, I would think the NFL would have learned from the WNBA that shit don't work. Now, one thing I don't expect to see Dart do, because I know he's a good kid. I know he got good people around him. It tells me they know that that climate was trying to divide him from Russ and wanted him to disrespect Russ, like too many of them disrespect black people, like they take joy of disrespecting Shedeur. Shedeur made it known in Cleveland when he did his KFC promo. What did he say? No. People were trashing Flacco. He said, no. Flacco and I are cool. The same thing happened. Somebody was talking to Shedeur and tried to trash Dart. He said, no. Dart, me and Dart friends. They friends because they got a lot in common. They friends because why? They like the same thing. They both have swag. You like Shedeur for the same reason you like Dart, because they have heart. They're going to try to make something happen. But there are people that don't like Dart celebrating Russell Wilson and never wanted Caitlin Clark to be kind toward the black players on her own team, or acknowledge that the black players on her own team, Erica Mitchell, was better than her. But they wanted her to be upset with Angel Reese. Shout out to Jaxon Dart and his family. Shout out to Jaxon Dart himself, because he didn't have to stand up there and say that. And I knew when he did it, he was like, I'm going to put this out here right now. I don't hate black people. I don't have a problem with respecting black people. And I know what I'm never going to see from Jaxon Dart. I'm never going to see Jaxon Dart sitting down disrespecting his black coach. Yeah, it's a viral clip going around with Caitlin Clark and what looks to be Sophie Cunningham sitting next to her, or somebody who she cliquish with on her team, disrespecting a black female coach coming over, talking to them. See, the truth about who you really are comes out. And it shows you that up front and right the hell now and urgent and early, Dart is letting you know under no certain terms, I don't have no problem with black people. And I'm not about to sit up here and be used like no goddamn pawn. But see, Caitlin Clark fell for that. And she had to come back this year and say basketball will build on the backs of black women. You could have said that last year. But I'm glad you said it. But look at how you're treating your coach that comes over to talk to you. That's a black woman that's coming over there to talk to you. And look at how the two of y'all acting and treating this woman on camera. You know you on camera. You on camera in street clothes, and they're not even looking at your damn teammates who balling out in front of you. So you knew you was on camera. See, the truth about who you really are always comes out. And I don't expect to ever see Jaxon Dart disrespecting his black head coaches. But Caitlin Clark, that's on her for her to learn on how to move. Because regardless of who's using the strategy of racism as a marketing tool, at the end of the day, the majority of the people you work with are black when it comes to the physical sport. I don't give a damn who in the front office. And you disrespect one of us, you might around and find out you're going to disrespect all of us, and it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a little hard for you to get along if you disrespecting your black female coaches in the WNBA. And see, there's some people, they just want to use Caitlin as a symbol of white supremacy. I'm like, look here, we watching a basketball game. Take that somewhere else. But LeBron had to shut up and dribble. You see? So God is waiting on Shedeur to understand and move like he know what the hell is going on. No, you don't ever have to be scared when you have God at your back. But you do have to move like God is leading and not you, or it ain't gonna work. It's the reason why we know Jalen Hurts is an Omega, and we know he quiet, and they don't know who he is. It's the reason why Russell Wilson had absolutely no problem with Jaxon Dart taking over. You know why? First of all, Russell Wilson know he only got a 1-year contract. He was never supposed to be there. He know how he was treated by Sean Payton in Denver. He knew when he was shipped off to Pittsburgh, he was supposed to be QB2. He knew it was a black head coach, Mike Tomlin, that made him QB1. He knew he took him to the playoffs. And then they booted him out and told him to go interview with Cleveland. And they didn't want him. But they wanted Pickett, and they want Flacco, and they want Dillon. Then they sent him to New York, who didn't want him. So they sent him on a humiliation tour to be told no and rejected because they wanted him to feel rejected. And what did Russell Wilson say? Oh, they can't break me. But how does he move? He don't live his life in the NFL. That's his job. You see him living his life on social media with his family and his charitable activities. You can't bring yourself to work with these people. And Shedeur has not learned that yet. I don't know if he's at a point in his spirituality where he feels like, well, God got me here so I could be whoever. Nope. You're just going to make it harder for yourself, and it's going to take longer. You don't have to be meek and a sellout, but you have to let God lead. What's happening to Shedeur is happening to Black people in corporate America and in the public sector, whether you work for the post office or you work for the Department of Human Services. If you the only one over there and they didn't want you in the first place, they don't want to see your personality, they don't want to hear you. And I'm not saying you have to lay down and let them walk all over you. What I'm saying is you better ask God every day to direct your steps and only step when he tell you to step. This is not about Coach Prime. This is not about him not being talented. They don't care how much you work out. Do that for you. Do that for God. But don't expect them to see it and change their mind because they are taking great pleasure in what they think is your suffering. Like Russell Wilson, don't let them break you. And don't let them even think they could break you. And when their reporters come in there, you better have some canned responses. Don't be authentic with these people because all they're going to do is take and misconstrue what you said, just like they're doing with Coach Prime, saying good things when it's BYU's head coach talking about his players, but posting the negative about Coach Prime talking about his players when he in a recruiting cycle. Be careful what y'all recording over there in Colorado. See, y'all think y'all recording Coach Prime holding his players accountable. That ain't what people seeing right now. That's all people seeing. They looking for some other accountability. So I would be careful with your post because it's going to work against you because that's the climate that you're in. So shout out to Jaxon Dart for not letting people use him as a pawn or a great white hope so he can continue to be himself authentically. Because here's another thing, and maybe his people have talked to him about this. You know, they're trying to use you to pitch you against the Black people because the league is majority Black and they don't like that. But they want that athleticism, but not at the quarterback position. But understand this, son. You could go out there and win and they're going to love you. But if you go out there and it go bad, they're going to chew you up and spit you out. So don't even ever buy into them trying to make you think you are better when they propping you up and you human and things going to happen. And the tide will always turn. That's what it looks like they sat down and talked to him about. This way he could continue to be himself and move on and not be used. Then a year later, you won't be sitting on the bench after your fan base go, oh, he like Black people. And you out here disrespecting your Black head coaches to show people y'all could keep buying my shoes. So I said that people were getting on Coach Prime, and I'm right. This is just a little snippet of what people were saying. This is all over social media. And again, this is the lesson for Coach Prime too. Understand things gonna change and your name ain't gonna matter. It's just not gonna matter because see, people want to win at the end of the day. And we always knew Coach Prime to be a winner, right? And a lot of people are starting to see that Shedeur and Travis didn't need to be coached. So they're starting to question if he's a good coach. And we ain't talking about the media. We talking about his own fan base, right? So it's that Kyle said, y'all think Coach Prime goes to bed and gets all cozy and snuggled up with his timeouts. They standing on his head about this clock management. And it's not going to do him any good to be stubborn about clock management and continue to lose, because Pat Schumer going to continue to make sure you lose. I looked into Pat Schumer. It looks like his contract ends at the end of this year. He was paid $800,000, I think, last year, and $850,000, and I think that's it. So that tells me we're going to bleed out to the end of the season until Pat contract expired. But the question is Coach Prime going to get an opportunity to pick another offensive coordinator? And is it going to be enough? Because he needs a new defensive coordinator. His NFL theory, he going to need to abandon it. And he's going to have to put his pride aside in order to abandon it. It said, I'm done defending Prime. It said, bro, I don't think he can coach. He can even manage a 2-minute drill with 2 timeouts. See, these are the things. This is just a sentiment of how people are feeling around multiple platforms on social media. Now, understand this about social media, right? See, this is what the NFL has not learned about social media. They're going to chew you up and spit you out when they all realize what's going on. See, they don't all realize what's going on with the NFL. Dak Prescott referred to the NFL as a machine, and he's right. But see, at the end of the day, the fans make this go a certain way, right? And while we see you want to put down Shedeur, you feel like you got to step on Shedeur to elevate Dart. See, Dart didn't buy into it. They ran out today. Oh my God, he got the #1 selling jersey in the NFL. We don't really care. But see, that matters to them because he's white. Because when you looked at who had the top 5, only Josh Allen was in that list. Shedeur was on the list. Saquon Barkley, I think Josh Allen, and probably 2 other people, but it was 4 black people with 1 white person. When I looked at the top 5 list of who's being sacked in the NFL right now, leading through week 4 black quarterbacks and 1 white one, just like the top 5 selling list. So what does that tell you? That as hard as they have tried to keep black quarterbacks away, they have not. And what you saw in the draft was ugliness and desperation to try to humiliate Shedeur to elevate Dart, and he did not buy into it. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. And I don't have no problem with Russell Wilson sitting down. Because at some point, all leaders know we got to pass the baton. You got to start getting the next generation ready. You have had your time. And if you believe in God, you got to accept it whenever the call comes. And that's what it is for us. And that's okay, because he in a league that don't want him anyway. And the more you try to fight to stay, the more they're going to kick you. And that's a lesson for Shedeur. They're not trying to put you out, but they are trying to humiliate you. So when they put their microphones in your face, you ain't got to be rude. But do you really need to be your authentic self so they could take your words, misconstrue it, and use it for clickbait? You're going to stay in the media anyway because we over here for you. And they're going to cause all kind of problems in that locker room. So when you get out there, your O-line ain't going to block for you because they are attached to Flacco. They even had Jerry Jeudy sharing a locker with Flacco, and now Isaiah Bond is the leading receiver. That's a lesson for Jerry Jeudy. When you damned if you do and you damned if you don't, you might as well just go on. Shunning Shedeur didn't help you because now you're the second leading receiver. And I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to trade you. And then you're going to find yourself out there like Tony. And you didn't embrace Shedeur and Tony did. And y'all going to end up in the same place. Out. Exiled. The NFL, unfortunately, rules by intimidation and expects submission from black players. When you step through those doors, that's what you were choosing to accept. And if you didn't know, now you know. What you're going to do going forward, the way you move matters. You have to move a certain way for your own safety, your own protection. Again, black quarterbacks do not make up the majority of all quarterbacks. But yet, when it comes to the top 5 being sacked, 4 out of 5 are black. So let's see if Coach Prime decide to take heed and listen to his fans who've been following him. I was looking for my pictures when I had from Jackson State because I was waiting for somebody to come my way, but they ain't say nothing. They ain't say nothing. I guess people are all kind of feeling the same. Coach Prime, you got to do something about this. You got to help the situation. You got to keep that microphone by your mouth and pretend that you talking to somebody. Show us that you leading. Don't show us that Pat Schumer is leading and you over there bringing in the kids and turning them over to Pat Schumer and he chewing them up and spitting them out. That can't work like that. Show us that you are the leader. Show us that you are the one calling the plays. Shout out to Coach Hayes. I watched him do his analysis and the breakdown of the plays. Excellent. I'm glad to see more Black men in this space with stats and breaking down play calling on YouTube rather than just talking. We need more of that. So shout out to Coach Hayes. Whether I agree with everything he said or not, shout out to him because he did a damn good job. And that's a good place for y'all to go and watch somebody break down step by step and mark up the plays and see what you need to see. And then come back over here and I'm going to tell you if I agree with what he said or not. Some stuff I agree with, some I do not. Right? I told y'all I was going to find out who was on the right side of the O-line when Caden got sacked. And it was not number 84. Number 53 blew his coverage. So if you were on X yesterday, you saw me post this image multiple times showing number 53 chasing his man. Let me tell y'all what Caden was doing. Now, I told you Caden has a mentor that's already in the NFL. And he going to be more astute about how to move faster than Shedeur because Shedeur comes from the Sanders side. And I think Coach Prime has, unfortunately, a skewed view of the NFL right now. I don't think he has 100% accepted the fact that this is not about him, that this is about racism. So Caden gonna get there faster in thought than Shedeur. All right, so check this photo out. See right here? All right. Now I want you to look at this. I'm gonna move myself to the bottom. I'm gonna make myself smile so y'all can see this. And I want you to look at the position of everybody. Somebody said Caden had a clean pocket. I'm like, so you don't know what a clean pocket is. A clean pocket is when all the O-linemen damn near in the shape of a straight line or a U and everybody is matched up, whether it's 2-on-1 or 1-on-1. A clean pocket. This ain't nowhere near a goddamn clean pocket. Do you see number 53 right here chasing the dude in the white who chasing Caden in the gray? This ain't supposed to be. Look at 72. Look at over here to the left. Is that Jordan Seaton? Jordan Seaton still holding his man. Whoever this is, probably Xavier Hill, down here to the bottom of the screen, still with his man. 72 starting to chase his man. But look at 53. The same thing happened with Shedeur. Caden is running around exposing who the hell is blowing coverage just like Shedeur. And it was annoying the hell out of me that on X, people were kept putting this damn clip out with Caden. It's a little snippet of a video. And they kept talking about this. I say, if you're going to talk about this play, I'm going to need you to talk about why 53 is chasing his man. I told y'all they took 84 out the game. They setting Caden up. Somebody at CU setting up Caden just like they set up Shedeur. And the only people who could do this consistently got to be up there with the goddamn headset. Because the people that are now the O-line coaches, they were not the O-line coaches last year. So by process of elimination, Shedeur running around because coverage on the right side is broken. The same thing happened in the Delaware game to Caden and Juju. And now it's happening again to Caden in this BYU game. See, somebody up there set up Shedeur and they setting up Caden because they both eligible for the NFL. And I bet you know who it is. Because the O-line coaches were not there last year. They calling a particular play. And whatever it is, they take 84 out the game, put 53 in. Either he's selling or he ain't good. And they know he ain't good, so they exploiting him. I watched him struggle on another play. So here's the thing. They're going to say, no, he not compromised. I'm like, so you know he not good. You know he got a weakness, and you exploiting it, and you take the guy out that can block for Caden. Remember number 84? I said, damn, that's one of the best right tackles I ever saw block at Colorado. They took him out, put in this dude right here. He blew his coverage. and Caden got sacked. Caden has never thrown an interception. These quarterbacks know when they people are blowing coverage. Shedeur was sacked 8 times in the Baylor game before he realized it came from the right side. Caden messed up. Why? Because he ran to the right side. I told you stop running to the right. See, you got to listen to people when they try to help you. No, you might not know me, but I know I DM'd you and told you stop running to the right. One thing about it, if you run to the left, Jordan Seaton still got his man down here at the bottom of the screen. This is why Shedeur ran to the left before he threw that Hail Mary pass, because he figured out that the right side was giving way. When Caden gonna figure it out? I sent you a DM. I told you, don't run over there to the right. When I watched him run to the right, I said, oh, he got you. So either dude is compromised or he ain't good, but somebody in the booth know that he ain't good or he compromised. And they did the same damn thing to Shedeur. And somebody talking about, no. He had coverage. Where? This is not any kind of coverage. And don't ever call me babe like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Somebody, no, he got coverage, babe. I'm like, don't play with me. You go play with your mama, your auntie, your grandma. Don't play with me. I know damn well number 53 should not be chasing number 1. Chasing the dude with the white who chasing Caden. And I told Caden, don't run to the right no more. Stay the hell away from the right side unless 84 is on the field, because he's the only one that blocked for you. And these quarterbacks going to have to think like that. Cam going to have to start thinking like that in NFL. All these black quarterbacks got to figure out that always coming from the right. When Jalen Hurts got sacked from the right in that game, the dude came from the right and they had just put him in the game. I remember his last name. It was Pryor. I was so embarrassed. So stop running to the right, Caden. Stop running to the right. And if you see number 53, you better stay the hell away from whatever direction he in. Always run to the left, because Jordan Seaton is still with his man. You're not going to tell me it is okay for 53 to be chasing the dude in the white and the dude in the white to be chasing Caden, while down here at the bottom of the screen, to the right at the bottom, is Jordan Seaton holding his man. 53 leads the tackler into the quarterback every single time. He might block once. He's not good or he compromised. It don't matter. Stop putting him in there. And if Jordan Seaton can play the whole game on the left side, then so can number 84 on the right. The right side is always compromised. It happened to Jaden Daniels. It happened to Jalen Hurts. And it keeps happening. It happened to Shedeur. And it's happening to Caden. It's always the right side. Now, I don't know why that is. And I ain't took the time to think. But the pattern happens in the NFL and it happens in college. So y'all know why it's always the right side. You let me know. But you're not going to tell me it's okay for 53 to be chasing his man. And Jordan Seaton still holding his. Go watch Coach Hayes' channel and watch how 53 move on all of the plays that he reviews. And you're going to notice it. They know what they're doing. They did this to Shedeur. When Shedeur was being set up by Stefanski, wasn't he running around? All right, then. The quarterbacks is telling. They're letting you see who blowing their coverage. Stop running to the right. Stop running to the right, damn it. Stop running to the right. So a reporter asked Caden about when they were up, relinquishing the lead. And I said, you need to go ask Pat Schumer about this. Why isn't Pat Schumer not sitting there accountable for the questions? Because he the one making a mess. I don't want them asking Caden shit else. See, I'm going to watch the game. See, I didn't want to watch it. But I realize I have a duty to watch this game. I'm watching this game because it's TCU and I don't think they ranked. I thought they were, but maybe they fell out. I'm watching this game to see if they put 53 in this game or anybody else on the right side and they blow their coverage the same way. Coach Prime better start investigating, because what they doing to Caden is what they did to Shedeur, and they setting up these black quarterbacks. And while they had a black quarterback on the ground visiting, they gave Caden only 16 reps and let him get sacked in front of another black quarterback that want to come to see you. Way to run them off. Maybe they're not cerebral. So, to me, Pat Schumer should be answering the questions. You see right here, the post is, this came from our comment section, basically that when it comes to having a lead and blowing it or starting out fast and being slowed down, because they're not slowing it down. It's not on these kids. It said, Pat said, oh, I'm calling a game to win. Let me stop. We just went up 14-0. Facts. The moment CU starts out fast and gets up high, Pat Schumer slows down the game. Cater said, well, we just need to make adjustments. That's just a way to move past the question. Because I don't think it matters how you adjust. Because you actually already adjusted in the same thing happening. See, when the defense recovered those 3 turnovers and we didn't capitalize on 2 of them, at the time, Martavius French and Reginald Hughes was out there balling. And I told y'all I had not seen that level of intensity. Well, Hughes is now behind somebody else. And they came out and balled at the beginning of this game on offense and defense. And the same thing happens. Coach Prime getting played in his face. And by watching Caden be set up with number 53 blowing his coverage, whether it's incompetent or whether he compromised, the point is somebody involved with play calling and player selection knows that he can be exploited for whatever reason. And the same thing happened to Shedeur on the right side. And it happens in the NFL. Caden is being set up. Shedeur was set up. And I remember Coach Prime saying, we just couldn't protect him. So you don't know it's Pat Schumer. If Shedeur had to overrule Pat Schumer last year, that means you have been set up in year 1 by your OC, year 2 by your OC, but your son, thankfully he was the quarterback, could overcome it with his buddy on defense. In year 3, your OC or somebody is setting up another black quarterback that's not your son, the same way they set up your son. And it happened to your son with the Rams. He was running around just like Caden because the right side blew the coverage. I think in the Panthers game, I think it was I think I called it out, number 74. I think he got cut. He was on the left, I think, though. Left guard, not left tackle. So let me see what y'all got to say about this, right? So people standing on Coach Prime head about this time management, clock management. They standing on Coach Prime head about these timeouts. It's obvious that people realize that we could have won Georgia Tech and BYU, but guess what? The OC keeps losing winnable games, not calling creative plays. People want to celebrate. Coach Hayes was saying, Pat Schumer called a wildcat. Woo. One good creative play. That ain't even creative. But don't talk about how it is we kicking the ball back on 4th and 1. See, that's where I begin to disagree with people. That's why I just get quiet and move on. And I'm going to talk about that on my channel. That's not on these kids. Not making adjustments. He talked about the holding. He talked about how it could have been a not been, but the receiver sold it. Did they make any adjustments afterwards? Nope. Did they say anything about Caden running a 46-yard run and it being called back, whether it was the refs or whether it was Omarion? No, they just want to talk about the interception, but nobody's talking about 53 in his blown coverage chasing his man. Nobody wants to talk about how number 53 is obviously not that good and is being exploited. Nobody wants to talk about how it is that the same thing happening to Caden at Colorado is the same thing happening to Shedeur at Colorado when he was eligible. And I know why they don't want to talk about that, because they either can't or they're reluctant to do any goddamn thing about it. I told y'all yesterday, Caden is not set up for success. This is your proof right here. He's set up to fail. No reason 53 should be chasing his man. No reason 84 can't play the whole game if Jordan Seaton on the left can. They know what they're doing. And Coach Prime, this is your opportunity to fire somebody. You got enough evidence right here. Go, you got all the film from Shedeur running around back there. And you need to ask yourself, why is it only happening on the right side? Because Jordan Seaton is good and he can't be compromised. So let me see what y'all are saying. When the right side of your O-line is compromised, you can't go over there. You're going to have to move to the left. You're going to have to change it up. It don't matter what you're used to doing. You're going to have to move different. That's why Colorado won the Baylor game, because Shedeur rolled out to the left instead of the right. Thank you, Political Lil. Hey, Matt, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? 240 of us. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button before you leave. Thank you. Sharon, how you doing? How you doing? Hit the like button on your way in. Hey, chat, AB3. Mac, let's get it. Welcome to Monday in a new week. It says, show her some love. Hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you. 15 people shorted us. Hit the like button. This queen is on to something. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know y'all couldn't hear me. I just be excited and ready to go. Just like Joe Theismann. Yup, I remember those. Yup, it's crazy. This crazy. To my, she just talking away. Yup, I'll be on here ready to go. Miss Pamela said, "Oh my God, just like Joe Theismann. I think Kyrie Irving had a dislocated knee. Oh, and he came back, so that's good. That's good, Political Lil. That's actually good. Good hope for Tyreek, because this was so disturbing. It said I had 2 of those. What? You had 2 dislocated knees? My goodness. Okay. All right. But yeah, Tyreek Hill's injury, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It shook me up. It shook me up. I'm glad I ran the doc. I'm glad I ran doc. That's nothing. You don't feel it. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good, because it looked like it hurt. Okay. People were thinking he was in shock. It said that's why Travis got to be careful. Okay. Because he is balling as a receiver. They play on Monday Night Football too. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if I'm gonna have the chance to go live, but I'm definitely gonna be talking about it when it's over. It said that basketball player, his name was Paul George. Oh, that's who that was? That was his ankle, and his foot must have been the other way or something. Oh my God. Well, he returned to basketball too, didn't he? And shout out to Al Horford, who just signed a multi-year deal with NBA. He been around a minute, right? I'm like, wow. Okay. It said happened to Dak Prescott. Oh, really? Wow. Charlotte's husband in the building. J Fit Music. Okay. Okay. Charlotte husband in the building. Charlotte is Nikki Fit, right? Nikki Soul Fit. Okay. It said, I have sound. Thank you, boo. Thank you. It's just a joint. It's not broken. But what about the artery? Like what the doc said. It said it happened to my sister. Dislocated ankle. Horrible. She's still in pain. That was decades ago. Yeah, it don't seem like once that happened, you're going to ever be the same. But Kyrie Irving is playing basketball. So, hey, J Fick Music, welcome. It said praying for Tyreek surgery, rehab, and healing. How long y'all think he going to have to be out? For people that know, or people who want to speculate, how long you think is he gonna miss, like a season or 2? Or that look pretty darn bad. That don't look like nothing that's gonna heal in 6 to 8 weeks. Let me know. Yes, praying for Tyreek. Hey Dia, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Blind Beauty, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? I felt it in my hands. So you dislocated your hand? Is that what you saying, Matt? Neuro. Oh Lord, have mercy. Goodness gracious. It said wealthy doesn't allow you to escape racism. It's in the DNA of America. Right. And that's what I mean by, I'm not going to ever say what a person is or is not. I'm going to say from over here in Atlanta, looking at the situation for a long time and the way the draft was handled. I don't agree with the people that said he needed an agent because he wanted to go as high as possible, because that's all predicated on talent. I think when people say things like that, you're telling us the NFL wasn't predicated on talent, that he needed somebody to speak up for him against the defamation. And to me, that's a lawyer in the court of law. Honestly, shame on the NFL, right? Shame on the NFL for wanting more white quarterbacks than black ones. Shame on the NFL for wanting racism to thrive rather than the competition of the sport to succeed and grow. What are you going to Europe for with these games if you just want to be racist here in America? Why do you need to humiliate Shedeur Sanders to elevate Jaxon Dart? Can't they both be good? See, people like myself who grew up with the sport, I told somebody on X who said, I didn't know the NFL was like this. I said, it's because we were little. We were little and we were blindly celebrating with our family, but now we're older and we can see and speak and formulate our own thoughts and opinions. And we don't like the racism that we're seeing. To hurt these young Black quarterbacks and cheat them out of their careers, destroy their careers, because you'd rather have a majority white quarterbacks that play on television. So you can zoom out to the audience and bring in the audience that looks like those people, which means you're shunning your Black fans. And, we don't take too kindly to that. And I know y'all think we don't stick together. Yes, we do. That's how Colin Kaepernick ended up with a $10 million settlement. And no, they didn't have to let him come back. They might have been performative and made it seem like they was going to let him come back. Shedeur don't even have to be over there. But there's a reason why they haven't dismissed him. Because of what y'all going to say. They know what happened to Target. Target makes hundreds of billions of dollars and felt it. To the tune of $12 million. The NFL only makes 20 billion. So they going to feel 12, right? So here's the thing. They're not dumb. They're ignorant. It's a difference. So yeah, we praying for Tyreek Hill. It said, I've been waiting for this statement to be addressed. At 67, I've seen this real time and grew up with parents doing the civil rights. Pray for wisdom, this young man, right? And you know what's interesting too? Here's what I said. I saw Tyreek Hill. I had all my thoughts formulated over here, know which direction I'm gonna go. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna say, but I know who I'm gonna talk about. And the crazy part to me is I said, I think Black people gonna have to stop saying, man, if I lived in XYZ time, the 60s, slavery, Jim Crow, I wouldn't put up with this. I want you to know, I hate to tell you, but this NFL stuff that we watching, this is straight Jim Crow. Trying to force the Black players to be submissive, picking and choosing only the Black players that they think are going to be submissive, and exiling and abandoning the ones that they can't intimidate, like Tony Brown. That's a straight up lawsuit. And here's what people need to understand. Just like I said about Coach Prime, his own fan base getting on him. There's going to come a time that the NFL fan base get on them too. It might not be right this minute because there's so many other pressing things happening in this country. But that's also one of the reasons why Shedeur is still over there. And he going to be over there in God's perspective until he understands why he over there. See, you can't go out there and play now because they're going to get you. Top 5 quarterbacks that have been sacked are Black. 4 are Black. Drake May, I said, he must have to take one for the team, because how would it look if Black players do not make up the majority of all quarterbacks? Remember my little chart? But I do make up the majority of the quarterbacks that are being sacked. That fits right up to what I said. 17 to 32. See, 4 out of 5 ain't good. See, you don't mind that. It tells you they're using sacks as a tactic and throwing at Drake May to throw you off, which means they know they can't get away with blatant racism, but they keep trying. They keep trying. So for those of you that are frustrated and want things to change, we on God's time. Hit the like button, because that's why I'm here. I can promise you, I ain't know we was going to end up here. I stopped watching the NFL after Colin Kaepernick. Shedeur led me back. So that tells me everything he's going through is not in vain. And in 2020, I didn't have a platform like this. Oh, that was 2016. But it was 2020 when I started, I guess, watching like sports shows and stuff like that. Because why? We were in the pandemic. That's why my journey began unknowingly to myself. Every day before I log in to start my day. You know what I'm saying? I had on Undisputed, Shannon, and Skip Bayless every single day. And I loved it. I mean, couldn't go nowhere else, right? Couldn't travel, wasn't supposed to be traveling. So every single day. And here we are, 5 years later. So what I'm saying is, nothing with Shedeur is in vain. There will come a day that the NFL fans will stand on its head. Right now, there are way more pressing issues about brown people being snatched up off the street, a black, I think, principal at a school in Iowa, superintendent in Iowa school district. I snatched him up, right? I watched in Chicago against a black Uber delivery person. They was chasing him down the street. So there are more pressing issues than what's going on with Shedeur. But in the meantime, this is for Shedeur to learn. This is not because you are Sanders. This is not because they don't think you're talented. This is because you're black and you're learning this for a reason. Because when you do get your legs and God releases you, it's going to be after you fully understand. Because if he decides to close that door or let them close it, it's not so you go home and cry. It's so you start your own damn league. Because that might be the only way forward. Because right now, in the climate we live in, that is the only way forward until things change. And we don't know how long that's going to be. Two things we as people don't understand: white supremacist ideology and how racism is. Yep, what? Julian Johnson Law. Matter of fact, I'm gonna reach out to Julian Johnson Law, and I'm gonna see if he want to sponsor me, and I want to sponsor him. I'm gonna figure something out. I told y'all I'm gonna get to a point with this channel where we grow, and I'm gonna have a lawyer. You're gonna see his name right there, and it might be Julian Johnson Law. Don't be surprised, because I done said his name I don't know how many times. Black people do not understand Jim Crow is number one. You also don't know. That's what you're walking into. You watching it in the NFL. And while you're watching it take place in the NFL, understand what's happening in the NFL is a microcosm of what's happening in broader society, which means without knowing it, you're going to look up and realize it. You back in Jim Crow, where your ancestors were. So you can no longer say, I would do this if this were me back then. What you going to do now? Because you're there. You are here. You are here. You don't have the freedoms you thought you had. It's that Prime needs to shut it down as well with his what, Pat? What's that? His perfections? What do you mean? Let me know. Let me know. Give me an example. Political Lil. Shedeur doesn't understand how politics distributes power in this system. Facts. It said, I agree. It said Tube has to sit down on its own bottom. Every tube has to sit down on his own bottom, but it's happening to Shedeur. It's happening to Shedeur because it's in his spirit to happen to him. Okay. It said Cam would know that better than Shedeur. What's that, Blue Moon? Buck breaking. Facts. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. It's that interesting take. Can you share more about what that means? Blue Moon, there's a message for you there. Sometimes when y'all say something, y'all got to expand a little bit. Because, I get out what I got to say, then I come over and share, and we kind of need context when we get to your comment. Y'all are doing a wonderful job. Thank you. I appreciate you. 223 people, hit the like button for me, please. It's that girl you just said a mouthful. Yeah, it said, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Is that Sarita? Thank you, Sarita. It said, when you look at Coach Prime videos, he has random people all over the place. CP seems like he bends over to accommodate. I think he don't believe. I think he's slow. And I think I've heard this said. I ain't gonna say why I saw it because I don't want people getting it and putting it out there. We all got to learn. And some people in school right now, and they finna be taking the school real hard because I see what's happening. See, I'm gonna tell you something. Pat Schumer can't do what he's doing without somebody else okay with it. And I ain't talking about Coach Prime. You understand what I'm saying? Coach Prime is supposed to be the boss, right? But I'm letting you kill his season. Somebody else got to be okay with that. We know he knew something was up because he went and got Byron Leftwich, but Byron Leftwich didn't want to stay. So now Pat Schumer up there killing the program because, you try to replace me. See, that's politics. But Pat Schumer can't get away with that. One, if Coach Prime don't let him, and two, if somebody else over Coach Prime don't let him. Why would Rick George be okay with Pat Schumer taking down CU after they were irrelevant so long? Because understand this, when Coach Prime gone, that's it. So you better step the hell up and tell Coach Prime, since you don't want to do it, we gonna get rid of this one right here. Because he messing it up and we not going back to irrelevancy. We making $300 million a year off of TV, and I'll be goddamn it if he costs me my job. That's what's gonna have to happen. And then eventually that's gonna cost Coach Prime. Now, I like Coach Prime, and I know God opened that door for him, but he better go on and understand that turning your back on Caden It's no different than standing on that sideline and letting your son get sacked when you know Pat Schumer is the problem. Amen. See that right now don't need to get 2 and 2 don't need to get put together right there. Because if the same thing is happening to Caden, somebody is trying to tell us, I'm the same person that did it to Shedeur. And who's allowing it to happen to Caden? You can't be blind and don't see that that's the same thing. And I see people on X ganging up on Caden. I call them some fake busters because how you out here trying to divide the team and they want all these kids to turn on Caden. Why do you think they're doing this? Because they want who to get in, not Juju. I done told y'all, stop. It's their preference. And he not even going to the NFL this year, which means they trying to kill Caden chances, Coach Prime recruiting. You have a black top QB for 2027 on the ground, and he watched your quarterback get sacked. He watched you lose a 14-point lead, and he watched your quarterback get 16 reps. That don't work for black quarterbacks. That works for Trevor Lawrence. Because he over there balling with 100-some yards. But if you only get up 100-some yards, you know what they're going to say? See, you got to be in the 200 yards to be special. They get to be 100 yards. So, you see, this situation is bad because when Coach Prime said we couldn't protect Shedeur, I was like, huh? Is couldn't the right word? Because you can't protect Caden either. So what's really going on here? See, this is a little deeper. See, this ain't even about football no more. This is getting personal. This is getting, wait a minute, this happened in Caden and it happened to Shedeur. Shedeur had to call his own plays and wait a minute, you couldn't protect Shedeur from Pat Schumer? How the hell that work? Pat Schumer said Shedeur was like Daniel Jones. How the hell that work? And he come back to see you? What's really going on? You see? We so far from football. There's a power dynamic here. And I feel like Pat Schumer is telling us he's in charge. Because ain't nobody fired him. And if we go 4-8, there's a message. Dart will not have the biggest selling jersey. He already does. He already has the #1 selling jersey. That's what I was saying. That's what they wanted. So that's what made me hopeful they'll go ahead and let Shedeur move on from the foolishness, holding Shedeur down till the Dart get where he is. See, they were never going to push Shedeur out there. Okay, here's a few things that were never, ever going to happen. Okay, Shedeur was never being drafted to Baltimore to be QB2. They were never going to put Shedeur in front of Cooper Rush. They refused to put Shedeur in front of Dillon. So they definitely not put Shedeur at QB2 in front of Cooper Rush. They never wanted Shedeur to get out there and ball out and look better than Dart because they know in their consciousness, they push Shedeur down to get Dart. So how can Shedeur be better than Dart? So now that Dart is up and his legs are working and he looking good and they only let him throw 111 yards, but they're happy with it. They can move on and stop hating on Shedeur because that's all they wanted. It's for the guy that they put in front of Shedeur, which is Dart, not Tyler Shaw. That's Jalen Milroe fight or Quinn Ewers fight. But for Shedeur, it was Dart. And as long as Dart was on that bench and Russ was out there balling, you ain't going to see a peep of Shedeur because they still have to maintain what they did in the draft. They don't want to talk about the humiliation. That's a whole nother topic. But they were never going to let Shedeur outshine Dart, which is why they were so quick to come out today to say after Dart's debut, he has the #1 selling jersey in the NFL. I went and double checked, not as a rookie, in the NFL, because they want Dart to be their great white hope, which is why he is smart enough not to fall for it. Probably because he went to school in Mississippi and he maybe have some good parents and a good team behind him. So he avoided another Caitlin Clarkism. Right. It's up to families to educate their kids. And that's the whole point of this conversation. It said, Ms. Pilar made a statement defending Black NFL players against Rex Ryan, she alluded to knowing it's a race thing, saying it's embedded in them. Really? When did she say that? It said, just like last night, both brothers ended up with a tied game. You know what? When I heard the game was tied, I said, oh, Lord, here we go. This is another weapon. I said, this is another weapon, another weapon. I don't even know who it was. I think my mom told me somebody was playing, but I was busy. And I think I sat down to watch the little bit of a game. Don't even know who it was. And I heard the game ended in a tie. And subconsciously, I looked and I said, here we go. Something else. I told you it's always something. I don't know what they're going to do and how we're going to get to the point to where Shedeur is the MVP in Minnesota because of his stats, because he's good. But I have a feeling we're going to get there. It's just going to hurt. And it ain't going to be us. They can get there faster if they go out there and start their own league. They can get there a lot faster. See, they're taking the slow route. See, some people say the guys don't give up because they don't want to be pushed off their path. And that might be true. Just understand, you could take the express train to your success, or you could take the painful train to being sacked excessively, to being benched, to being tossed out the league in 2 years. They speeding that process up too. Normally they get 4 years. They getting them out in 2. Keep paying attention. So when Shedeur gets to the point where he walks and talks like he knows what's going on, maybe got to open the door, because that's who God waiting on. Shedeur, I can't let you loose out here, because then you going to be sacked excessively, and you already went through that in college. See, that's God's love for you right there. He know what your body can handle. He know how many times you've been excessively sacked. And he know that that's what's going to happen in Cleveland, because it already happened with the Rams game. He don't want you to be Deshaun Kaiser and go 0-15, because you are in Cleveland, and Deshaun Kaiser went 0-15 in Cleveland with a black head coach. So just like over there in college, with Coach Prime being a black head coach, and we see what happened to Shedeur is happening to Caden. The same thing could happen to Shedeur with Cleveland like it did to Deshaun Kaiser with Hugh Jackson. And don't forget, Pat Schumer worked for Cleveland too. And he is a Nepo baby. Here's the thing. They want their own league. They just want your labor. They don't want you to act like you know who you are. Come in, shut your mouth, go out there, work on the field, collect your check, spend your money where I can't see it. All you got to do is go out there and play 1 11-on-11 game and stream it on YouTube. Get some of them good players that people like that's no longer in the league. Well, Odell Beckham Jr. still in the league. If he not, get him. Go get Shiloh. Go get Terrell Owens' son, because then Terrell Owens don't show up. Go get Ocho, because he think he still got it. Cam probably can't do it because he got too many contracts with people that's really trying to pull him away from his own success, whether he knows it or not. Which brings me to this right here. I shared this with the members, I think late last night or early the morning before. This is going to be a topic of our conversation in this Friday's member-only chat, where we go beyond what the hell we talking about right now. And I know y'all like, what? It gets deeper. Yes, it does. It does. So if you're thinking of becoming a member, you might want to consider this week. So I ran across this. It was in my phone. See, I love a good screenshot, right? And I said, you know what? We're going to talk about this weekend. Where is it at? Now, we talked about disruption. And I was researching disruption, right, in the lives of Black people during Jim Crow. And I know how Black people disrupted the racism that was happening towards them. And the Great Migration was a big part of that. But see this right here on the screen? See this right here on the screen? ESPN College Game Day at Jackson State draws 1.8 million TV viewers. Jackson State generated $13 million for the city of Jackson during homecoming. That is one game and the Boombox Classic. So here's what you're going to have to start asking yourself. If they decide to buy out Coach Prime's contract for $44 million, which honestly, based on what I've seen, they're going to let him sit there and suffer with somebody else pulling the strings, like what we see with Pat Schumer, and embarrass him like they're doing Shedeur. Yeah, we know we good, but we don't want you. what does it do? It keeps generating them money, just like Shedeur with those jerseys. Now let's see how they treat Shedeur now that Jaxon Dart has the number one selling jersey in the league. Then we're going to see how they treat Coach Prime. And then you're going to know whether or not pulling him from Jackson State was to disrupt what was going on at HBCUs in terms of football and growth and success and attention. This is what we are talking about Friday behind closed doors. If you want to join us for a month. It don't matter, but this is the conversation. This is what's going down on Members Only Live Stream Friday. Disruption. Is it? Is this what it was about? We're going to see. So I can't believe that popped up in my phone, but disruption is the strategy, whether it's in business, in America, disruption. A lot of people don't know that the Native Americans, they came in and slaughtered a lot of Native Americans, right? And the women and their families, the women, a lot of, I guess, what they call them, colonists or whatever they call them, colonizers will come in and marry the Indian women so they could run the family oil business or take the land, take the property, because marriage gave you rights to property. So just like they say gold diggers right now, right? They say, oh, this person, you're going to marry this person, they're going to take half of what you have. See, this already happened. This happens all the time, right? This happens all the time. I said in America, if they ever give black people reparations, you're going to see so many people that don't like black people that suddenly checking the box black to benefit from it. Disruption. So, this is what we talking about Friday. All right, so I'm going to get back over here in the comments and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Hit the like button. Absolutely. Disruptors are threats to the power structure, right? Disruption, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. So, it's that the fans are happy to pay their money and clap along. Oh, some of them enjoyed it. I told you. I said, how is it? And it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that Coach Prime. See, people don't know that tweet that Coach Prime put out years ago about Shedeur was 16 when this tweet went out. He don't know. He wanted his son to make it to the league, but we don't know what really could have happened. He said when Deshaun Kaiser went 0-15, he spoke up for that young man. That's why I follow Coach Prime, because he does have heart to speak up, which is why I'm asking what the hell is going on at CU, right? He spoke up. He put his neck out there knowing how the NFL operates. And maybe he thought he could get away with it. And people think that that's why this happened to Shedeur. It could be, but not really. Hugh Jackson was the head coach. He's black. You already know. He alleged that they incentivized him to lose. While they were doing that for Hugh Jackson to lose, they let Deshaun Kaiser go 0-15. But what concerned me was the fans kept showing up. And I asked y'all yesterday, what are you really coming to see? A black man suffer? That's what I think is happening. That's what I really think is happening, right? In other words, if it can't be Jaxon Dart, we're going to watch Shedeur suffer, because we're not going to let you get to where Dart is. We didn't draft you for that. It's an ugly business. And I know what I know. But there will come a time where things will change. But for Shedeur, he's going to have to understand God needs you to move the way he needs you to move and not the way you want to move. Because you ain't going to survive this. And matter of fact, he might open the door and set you free, but it's what you do afterwards that matters. He needs to start his own 11-on-11 team. You don't lay down and go away. You keep playing the game that God opened the door for you to play, but the only reason he going to close it is so you can stop suffering. So, that's what it is. That's what it is. The Dallas versus the Packers. Because my mom was like, Dallas is all, she in Texas. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. And I must have saw it. Okay, I just checked. Shedeur still have the number one jersey. Okay, look, I ain't lying. They saying Shedeur has the number one rookie jersey. They came out and said, let me show it right here. I think I saved it. That Dart has the number one selling jersey in the NFL. Let's see. Hold on a second. Said after his debut. I had to double check that because I felt like, how could he have the number one selling jersey in the NFL, period? Let's see. I'm actually live on X right now, too. So yeah, I'm watching the game. We'll be live. So we're gonna have another virtual watch party. I think it's in the middle of the day, like at 5:30. And I'm watching, I'm looking over Caden. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking over Caden and Sincere Brown because it's a shame that Sincere Brown did not get but one target. See, that's a part of it too, right? They know Sincere Brown is good. They know 53 clearly has weaknesses or is compromised. Whatever it is, they're exploiting both. And every time they want us to lose, our best receiver is not getting any play. So okay, I think here it is right here. It said, yep, and this came from the same guy I told y'all that I always have the information. All right, let me share this. Can y'all see my screen? Let's see. Here it is right here. All right, this is it right here. Okay, this is the guy that a few days ago, I told y'all his name was Climbing or somebody. I don't know who it is. He was the guy that posted, wow, it's powerful. There are now 16 black starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And he went on to say that the majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL are black. And I said, that's not correct. See, people don't know the majority of the NFL quarterbacks are not black. The majority of the NFL quarterbacks are white. The majority of the lesser group, the lesser numbers of group are black. The starters. See, that's why the fight. That's why it's a dog fight. And a lot of these guys not going to give up. I understand that. Right? I understand that, but they're going to have to take some pain because that's what's happening. If you're not the majority of the group, but you're the ones that's getting sacked the most, then you're being targeted. Unless they're trying to say you ain't good. Right? So it says it right here. It says, hold on one second. It says, can I make this larger? I don't know. Maybe I can't make this one larger. Okay, here it is. Dov Kleiman, he posts all the time. It said, wow, Giants star rookie quarterback Jaxon is now the top selling jersey in the NFL after dominating in his debut. New York football is so back. And he is the one that just posted the 16 of 32, basically. But he made a mistake when he said that it's the majority of black quarterbacks. So if he made a mistake here, he's saying that Dart has the number one selling rookie jersey. But he said Dart has the top selling jersey in the NFL. Right? So it's up to y'all if y'all gonna believe him or not. But I know this guy, he posts like all the time or whatever. He always seems to kind of know stuff. So here's the thing. Things change, right? But here, what I'm trying to tell you, this is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. And now that Russ is moved out the way and not gonna fight it, right? They paid Russ $10 million for 1 year. He know he got to pass the baton. He know how the league is. He know that they tried to break him and he said they can't. He know he was retaliated against. So the fact that he even got this far was God. And he know that. So he gonna let it be. But we talked about how that worked for Shedeur because y'all asked me, you think now he'll play? I'm like, yeah, because 17 to 32 is no longer a threat. Not that that's good, but that's just the reality. So my question was, now that 17 to 32 is not in reach, Russ and I know Jaden Daniels, I think, is still out. And they're going to Europe. And Dart is now the number one selling jersey, whether it's rookie or whether it's top selling. The point is, it ain't Shedeur no more. That's the point. And they always want, this is what they wanted when they intended to draft Dart. This is what they want in Cleveland when they spend their money for their number one quarterback next year. They don't want this for Shedeur. This is why the Saints didn't want Shedeur, why the Saints don't want Rattler to proceed, because they want Nussmeier's son to come in next year so he can have the same type of success. They want this for the white quarterbacks, not the black quarterbacks. And they're hurting the black quarterbacks in the process to elevate the white quarterbacks at the expense of the Black quarterbacks' careers, mental health, physical health. Because if you're not the majority of all quarterbacks, but you are the majority, 4 out of 5 that's getting sacked, you're being targeted. Just like Caden in Colorado, just like Shedeur was at Colorado, just like Shedeur in Cleveland. That's where we are. All right, so I don't know if y'all noticed over here, but behind me, you see a scan me. So if you have the ability to scan this, this is the link to shop at What She Said Sports. So it says shop now. So I wanted y'all to know, if you want to bless the channel, and thank you, this is my Cash App. But where it says scan me, this is the new link that I put up. So anytime I'm live, this is the background. You can scan and check out the new products. I have a new Halloween tee that just dropped for men and women. Let me know what y'all think of it, because I always want to know. Let me know if you like the ladies version. Let me know if you like the men's version. I'm always open to comments. Thank y'all so much. So that's that. That's the church announcements. That's the church announcements. All right. So let me get back to the comments and see, did I get everybody? Yes, that was Dallas and the Packers. We have to start our own league. I think so. I think that might be the next step, because I thought about it. I said, now, the WNBA did the same, that Caitlin Clark tried to make her the great white hope when the WNBA, right? And I said, what was the difference? Unrivaled basketball. They had somewhere else to go. The best players that were being shunned took their talents to Unrivaled, but Unrivaled was still tethered to the WNBA. And the WNBA also tried to hurt their ratings and berate the league, because they're threatened by it. They're threatened by it. So Unrivaled is doing its own thing, but they still tethered. So I said, see, this is what needs to happen. The NBA, when their players get ostracized, they can go to the big three. The WNBA, when their players get ostracized, they can go to a basketball player owned, with one of the owners being Black, Nafisa Collier, to Unrivaled. But the NFL, they players, they don't really have anywhere to go and still shine. See, you can still shine in the WNBA, because I know Malik Beasley's over there, and I never even watched him play in the NBA. See, that's what I think, if the door closes for Shedeur, that he's supposed to do. I think he's supposed to start in 11 on 11 or something close to it and play in it. Because you don't have 4 million fans and followers for a reason. The NFL, God didn't kick the door in when the NFL tried to close it for a reason. God didn't keep you over there when they did try to cut you 2 or 3 times. You over there for a reason. But it ain't the reason you think. So let God drive. And you're going to find out. The unexpected will occur. I'm hoping it's in London, because now they get to gloat with Jaxon Dart as their guy. Shout out to Jaxon Dart, his family, his team, for not buying into, hey, you're not finna Caitlin Clark me. I don't have a problem with Black people. So now, maybe in London, where they're trying to grow, I'm hopeful that he'll get in the game. All right, so I'm gonna get myself out of here. Y'all let me know your thoughts. I think I got to everybody's comment for the most part. It said, did integration not teach us anything? No, it didn't, because most people don't realize that integration itself was a disruptor of the Black economy. We had our own everything. We didn't need the Montgomery buses. There were Black-owned bus companies with over 2,000 buses. Integration killed that. Integration was a disruptor. We didn't ask for that. That was a political move. It starts with the mind. That's facts. Yep, disruption. That's what it is. That's what it is. The NFL will never let a LeVar Ball situation. Fact, they not. They not. The NFL will not. See, people are just starting, like myself. We're just not really starting to find out. When people start a Colin Kaepernick thing, what people don't realize is, if Black people didn't stick together, he would have never sued and won. That TV ratings started to suffer, which negatively affected that $250 million check that each owner gets. So that's what needs to happen again. And they think we are not a factor, but I bet we are. I'm willing to bet you we are, Because how many people watch Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show? And if they allow Jay-Z to still keep doing the halftime show and they keep going with black artists, it should cement in your mind that you got more power than they want you to know that they have. And they intentionally not talking up the black quarterbacks because that's the last frontier for them to be dominated by black talent. Now, that's not what black people getting into it for. Black players just want to play football. Black fans like myself, I just want to see some good football. But since you got me over here and you hurting one of our own, which is Shedeur, because this is who I came with, we're going to talk about this and we're going to do something about it. Because I'm a solution-oriented individual. I'm going to tell you what's wrong, but I'm going to tell you how we're going to fix it. Have they announced who's doing the Super Bowl yet? It's late, ain't it? Let's see who it is. Last I heard it was Jay-Z. I would think it would be Taylor Swift. But I do find it odd. We don't know. And we pushing on Halloween soon. So, this is a power dynamic. And just like any other power dynamic, I think their side wants us to believe we don't have no power. But I think we got way more power than they want to admit. So stay tuned. Because Shedeur would have been gone. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. If you're thinking of becoming a member, become a member. Members, I already sent out the notification for members only live stream on Friday. I already showed you the topic. Come with your questions. It's going to be a good conversation. All right. And I will be live. I will schedule it. The live stream for Colorado versus TCU, because I'm out here cheerleading. I want to see, make sure Caden is not continuing to be cheated, because we're going to get into it if he is. I'm like, Pat, don't make me come up there. You know what they say, don't make me come up there. Don't make me come up there. And I don't mean physically. I don't mean in the flesh. So I don't like what I'm seeing. I believe he was set up. I told y'all if I looked at the right side of the O-line and he was not, if the right side of the O-line was taken out the game, that he was set up. That's what I would call it. Caden is being set up and Shedeur was set up. And that's going to have to be dealt with. A reckoning is going to come behind this young man right here. So we out of here, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. 224 of us. Hit the like button on your way out. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Go check out the new gear at What She Said Sports. Scan, click a link. I'm out here. We out here. See you later, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.